morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros.
Alright, madami tayong pag-usapan today, but today is a hearing na inaabangan ng lahat.
Yes, hindi matutuloy pero natuloy.
Yes, this seems to be exciting because iba ang
Yes.
supposedly iba magiging tono sa Congress.
Yes.
Iba ang tatanungin nila, so there are a lot of things that we wanna...
Former President Duterte is
Yes,
gonna be
that's
there.
why. That's why. Exactly. Anyway, we're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch. Oh, diba? So,
Yeah,
yun nga yung pinag-usapan natin.
Okay, so
Dadating
parang
siya ngayon.
kinancel ng Congress yung hearing ng lower house and then nag-confirm right after yung cancellation, saka kinonfirm. So, kinol naman ng Congress yung pagpunta, binalik yung hearing.
No, for context kasi sinasabi ng Congress, on their defense, sabi nila, they canceled the hearing and moved it for November 21 because marami silang mga witnesses na kinakausap.
Yes,
and they want to clean everything and to check kung i-affidavit pa yung mga ang tawag dito, statements itong mga witnesses na to. Pero hindi pa nila at that time alam na pupunta pala itong si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. The advice was sent, diba, sinabi nila na hindi tutuloy before nagsabi ang kampo ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. And then parang few minutes or 30 minutes after that, nagsalita na si Attorney Sal Panelo saying na, aten si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte.
Konteksto ba ito?
Oo. Pero yun, kasi para lang maliwanagan tayo din sa mga nangyayari. But right now, tuloy na nga, no? After all of those statements, tuloy ang
House Quad
Quadcom
Committee hearing on EJK and if you well remember kasi sa Senate, na-accuse si Kong Dan Fernandez and another congressman of pressuring yung police colonel.
Ace Barbers,
No, sino yung
No, I'm saying Kong Dan Fernandez and Kong Ace Barbers were allegedly accused.
Yung police officer, sino yung police officer na pinapressure nila?
Ano daw, Grijaldo.
Yun. Anyway, go ahead, Angel.
After initially announcing its cancellation, the Quad Committee is now proceeding with the hearing today. At present nga po dyan, as we've mentioned kanina, si former President Rodrigo Duterte. Let's talk more about this. We have Congressman Benny Abante on the line joining us today. Good morning, Kong.
Good morning, I'm in the white team.
Kong, sige, tanong ko na po kaagad, bakit po tayo natuloy today after saying nga po kagabi na hindi na nga po tutuloy? Is it because nandito na po si former President Rodrigo Duterte?
Actually, unang-una, we canceled the hearing to the 21st. Bago namin natanggap yung sinabi ni Sarmelo sa social media, darating ang Pangulo. Actually, we're waiting for the letter, no? Because hindi naman pwede na imbitahin namin siya through social media tapos sasagot siya through social media rin. We need an official letter telling us that he is actually coming. Wala kami natanggap nun eh. So, kinancel po namin ngayon. Nung nalaman namin, again, sa social media, na kahit na-cancelled, darating ang Pangulo to confront us, dapat mamimitin lang kami ngayong umaga. We were just going to meet. Dahil lang po sa nagmimisa rin dito, yung mga kaanak ng mga biktima, kahit kinancel, hindi nila kinancel yung mass, no? So sabi ko, okay, sige, kung harap ang Pangulo, ituloy na natin. Ituloy na po namin yung hearing.
Kung paano na po yung verification ng mga witnesses natin para sa hearing?
Well, dating pa naman yung ibang witnesses, nag-aabang lang po sila, so they will be here.
Okay. Kung ano po ang reaction nyo sa mga nagsasabi po na yung nangyari po yesterday pag-cancel, tapos biglang after cancel, pumayag sila Pangulong Duterte, nagbabluff lang daw yung magkabilang kampo para po masiguro na magkakaroon po ng hearing with PRRD?
Unang-una po, kahit kailanman, ang Quadcom hindi nag-bluff eh. Kahit kailanman, ang Quadcom po hindi nag-bluff. Seryoso po kami sa invitasyon namin. Seryoso po kami na malaman po lahat ng katotohanan. Oo.
Kung ang sinasabi nga rin po sa kampo nila former President Rodrigo Duterte ay willing sila, no? Naghahamon po sila ng 10-day marathon ng hearing.
Kung yan ang gusto nila, kaya nila. Ba't hindi namin makakaya yan? Samantalang kinaya namin ang Quadcom hearing from 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the morning. Oo. Kakayanin po namin yan. Hindi ko lang alam kung kaya ng ating Pangulo yan.
Ayun. Kung siyempre ang katanungan po ng marami, paano po masisiguro na kayo po, yung Quadcom, can control the hearing po at hindi magiging under the control of former President Duterte, tulad daw, sabi nila, sa nangyari daw sa Senado?
We always control the hearing because we actually follow the rules. Dito po sa hearing na ito, not because he is a former president, but we are going to waive our rules. We have to follow the rules. Ibig sabihin, pag siya nagmura, tatanungin ko siya. Dati kayong prosecutor. Doon po ba sa korte, tinatanggap po ng judge ang mura? Anong sasagot niya? Siyempre, sabihin niya, hindi. O wag niyo na yung magmumura din sa aming hearing.
Right. Okay. One of the reasons po kung na isa sa mga dahilan kung bakit hindi nga daw po interesado nung una na umaten itong si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte is number one, they don't trust, sabi nila wala na, doubtful na sila sa integrity ng House of Representatives. Pangalawa ay they have already said, he has already said yung mga statements niya sa Senado. So ngayon po ba, ano pa po ba yung mga kailangan natin sa mga sasagutin kay Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte?
In fact, Angela, when Atty. Delga wrote us the second letter telling that the president cannot come sapagkat wala siyang tiwala sa Quadcom at sabi nga lahat sa Senado, hindi na po namin inasahan darating pa siya. Pero all of a sudden, darating siya. Ibig sabihin, naniniwala siya sa integridad ng Quadcom.
So ano po yung mga possibility, no? Can you give us a preview on what might happen dun sa possible marathon series of hearings with Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte?
Well, there are several questions that we're going to ask. In fact, the Makabayan Bloc, Congresswoman Arlene Brosas, will start asking the questions. Marami kasi yung mga questions. Nais din malaman kung talagang siya, naniniwala siya sa affidavit na inilabas ni Colonel Garma, no? Kapag sinabi niya sa Senado, hindi siya naniniwala sa mga pahayag ni Garma. Gusto namin ulitin niya ito sa ating meeting.
Yes, kung under oath. Yes, kung gusto malaman po ng ibang mga tao po, mga viewers na natin, in the near future po, if ever matuloy pa po si former President Duterte sa House Quadcom Committee hearing, may pag-asa po ba magharap si Garma po at saka si former President Duterte?
May pag-asa pa rin. If Colonel Garma will be coming, because we told her naman, nung nirelease namin siya, we told her na ang isang kondisyon, pag pinatawag ka namin, darating ka. And she promised that.
But speaking of Rina Garma mo, yung kanyang recent na nangyari po sa kanya ngayon na nagpunta sa States, na aresto po ngayon at ide-deport po ulit ngayon. Nagsabi po ba sa inyo in passing, I know wala naman po siyang whole departure order, etc. Nagsabi po ba sa inyo in passing na plano niyang mangibang bansa?
Wala po. Nakakapagtaka nga sapagkat nung unang-unang hearing po namin sa kanya, sabi niya, ay hinold dun siya sa Japan when he went to Japan. Ano po? Papunta rin siya ng States. Hinold siya sabagat wala siyang visa. Kaya nagtataka kami, bakit tapos siya ng San Francisco samantalang wala siyang visa?
And ang
sabihin, meron. Sapagkat yung talagang kung talaga nakapunta ng San Francisco yan, from the airport here, nakita agad yung visa.
Yes. Oo. Ang sinasabi nga din po ng DOJ kung possibility na gawing siyang state witness, your reaction on that?
Yeah, in fact, we actually requested that sa DOJ na gawing siyang state witness, na bigyan siya ng witness protection program para magkaroon naman siya ng protection.
Sa ngayon po ba, alam na po ba natin kung nandyan na po mismo sa House of Representatives si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte? Nakarating na po ba siya? Nakita niyo na po ba siya, Kong?
Wala pa po. Inaabangan po namin. Excited na kami.
And
Okay.
officially, anong oras po ba dapat magsisimula ang ating hearing?
Dapat 10 o'clock, andito na siya. Sabi niya 10 o'clock.
Okay. So aside from former President Rodrigo Duterte, sino pa po yung mga inaasahan natin na magiging resource person natin or witness dyan po sa hearing po ninyo sa House of Representatives?
Nandito po yung mga kaanak ng biktima. Marami sila ngayon, ha? Andito rin po si Senator Laila de Lima. Andito rin si Atty. Del Jocno. Andito rin po yung si Atty. Conti, yung abogado po ng NUPL. At iba pa po na inibitahan po namin.
Alright, sige. For the meantime, maraming salamat po muna sa inyong oras at patuloy po kaming tatawag sa inyo, Kong, ha, para po sa latest.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Opo, dun sa mga
Yes,
update
ma'am.
natin dyan sa Quadcom hearing. Thank you so much.
Salamat po, Angelo, Angela. Salamat po sa inyo.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was Congressman Benny Abante of the Quad Committee, which is conducting a hearing today at 10 o'clock with former President Rodrigo Duterte in the House.
Oo, pero sabi nga niya wala pa.
Wala
Hindi
pa,
pa niya
pero
nakikita.
they're excited and they have a different, somewhat a different line of questioning for the former President.
Yes, and hopefully sinasabi nga nila, hindi daw ito ay magiging parang Senate hearing na kontrolado. Kasi, well, if you can see naman,
They will still accord him daw
wala siyang masyadong kaalyansa.
We understand naman yung
Kalyado.
according the president, former president with the utmost courtesy. Yung nagiging issue lang kasi was number one, dumating na sabi sa update
Yes,
namin that former President Rodrigo Duterte arrived in the House of Representatives
Yan.
in time for the 10 o'clock hearing. So, yan.
Stay tuned, ha,
Stay
kasi
tuned
of course we'll be giving you
updates.
blow by blow updates sa mga nangyayari
Mura by
dyan.
mura. Ika nga sabi nila. Alright,
Okay.
but let's start off with our countdown before anything else. On number 10 is about the weather. Some areas are under signal number 1 as Ofel strengthened into a typhoon. Let's get the latest details about this from Pagasa weather forecaster Chanel Dominguez. Chanel, good morning. Where is Typhoon Ofel now?
Magandang umaga din po sa inyo at magandang umaga din po sa mga tagapakinig po natin. So update po muna tayo dito po sa mga bagyong binabantayan po natin. Unahin na po natin itong si Ofel na may typhoon category na huling namataan sa 595 km east ng Daet, Camarines Norte. May taglay na lakas na hangin na 120 km per hour at pagbugso na 150 km per hour. Ito'y kumikilos westward sa bilis na 25 km per hour. Dahil po dito, meron na tayong tropical cyclone wind signal number 1 dito sa Cagayan, kasama na ang Babuyan Islands, northern at central portion ng Isabela, Apayao, eastern portion ng Kalinga, easternmost portion ng Mountain Province, at easternmost portion ng Ifugao. Samantala, asahan natin itong si Ofel ay possible maglandfall dito sa east coast ng Cagayan or Isabela bukas po ng hapon, November 14. Samantala, ang nakikita din po natin, possible po peak intensity po niya, ang paglandfall po niya dito sa dito po kung saan po siya possible maglandfall. And then next po nating update, ito po yung isang bagyo naman po natin na nasa labas ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility na may international name na Manyi. Sa ngayon, ito'y huling namataan sa langit 2,210 km east ng Eastern Visayas. May taglay na lakas na hangin na 75 km per hour at pagbugso na 90 km per hour. Ito'y kumikilos west-southwestward sa bilis na 30 km per hour. Sa ngayon, nasa labas pa rin naman po ito ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility at wala pang direktang epekto dito sa anumang parte ng ating bansa. Pero asahan din po natin, ayon sa forecast track mo nilabas po natin kaninang 5 a.m., possible din po ang landfall scenario dito sa eastern coast ng Cagayan or Isabela. Yun po. And then possible po, ito po ay lalabas naman din po ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility. Possible po next week pa po. Yan po muna latest dito sa Pag-asa Weather Forecasting Center. Chanel Dominguez po, magandang umaga.
Chanel,
Yes,
magkakaroon ba ng any kind of interaction itong dalawang bagyo na binanggit mo, or will it yung latest storm, yung Ofel, and ano yung pangalan ng isa, Chanel, sorry?
Manyi
yun po
International.
Manyi,
Yeah.
tatawagin po natin Pipito,
Pipito.
once na pumasok
Si
po
Pipito.
natin par.
Will Pipito have any interaction whatsoever with Ofel, and ano impact nito sa Luzon area?
Sa nakikita po natin, wala naman po sila magkakaroon ng interaction po dahil palabas po itong si wait lang po, si Ofel ay lapasok naman po si Pipito. So may mababa naman po yung chance na magkaroon po sila ng interaction, pero ito po si Tropical Storm Manny na magiging Pipito po natin ay mataas po ang chance din na maglandfall po.
Okay.
Miss Chanel, tama po ba na meron daw pong delay or absence ng amihan ngayon? Kaya daw po yung mga track ng bagyo natin ay talagang dire-diretso lang, walang mga posibilidad na matunaw along the way?
Yes po, kung mapapansin po natin, dali na po tayo sa pag-announce din po ng ating northeast monsoon dahil usually po first week po or early last week po ng October or early November po tayo nagde-declare po ng onset. Sa ngayon po, hanggang ngayon po, hindi pa po tayo nakakapag-declare.
Meron po ba tayong gale warning?
Sa ngayon, wala pa naman po, pero asahan po natin, possible po, mamaya po, magkakaroon din tayo ng gale warning dulot po ng dahil po sa paglapit na rin po nito ni Ofel, lalo na po dito sa Bicol region po natin.
Lastly, para lang po sa mga viewers natin, Miss Chanel, ito ba bang si Ofel ay mas malakas ang tubig, ulan na dala o hangin?
Sa nakikita po natin, parehas naman po dahil meron din po tayo nakataas na tropical cyclone wind signal. Meron din po tayong weather advisory na nilalabas about naman po sa rainfall nila. So sa nakikita po natin, possible po, combined effect naman din po sila.
Alright, sige. Maraming salamat po sa inyong update. That was Pag-asa weather forecaster Chanel Dominguez. Alright, let's continue with our countdown. Next in our countdown, Senate President Cheese Escudero says the Philippines must prepare for a policy shift under U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. Escudero said about 300,000 Filipinos in the U.S. may be affected by Trump's deportation policy. He also pointed out that Trump's proposed pivot on the diplomatic front may impact the country's fiscal position. The senator added that the Philippines should revisit its military alliance with the U.S., which was boosted by the Biden administration. Well, you have to remember also, during his presidency, yung first pag-upo niya, si President-elect Donald Trump noong 2016, yun din yung time na lumabas yung Hague ruling eh.
Yeah.
And, diba? And he also, his administration, diba, issued a statement supporting the decision naman.
Saka, you have to remember, it was Trump who used the word ironclad with regards sa relasyon ng Pilipinas. When PRRD, former President Duterte, kasi had a run-in with President Barack Obama when he was on his way out, reiterate ni President-elect Donald Trump, na ironclad and there's nothing to worry about. Number two, yung sa statement ni Cheese Escudero, ang dami nagsasabi yung mga political analysts and pundit na instead of saying prepare for the worst or prepare for the paghandaan natin, ito ang mangyayari, why don't we instead try to work with the incoming administration to try to lessen the impact of a possible mass deportation? Instead of saying handa na tayo, why don't we actually prepare, di ba? Imbes na mag-anticipate ng masama,
Pero
pag-isipan natin kung paano tayo to make things better.
Tsaka kasi kung iahambing mo nga yung dating niyang posisyon nung unang presidency niya, kasi sinasabi niya there's not much interaction with the Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte at that time. And we have to remember that was, di ba, inabutan sila ng COVID. Di ba? Tapos
COVID president sila.
COVID president sila. Tapos yung time na iniimbitahan naman daw sa White House before sa US si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Alam naman natin yung foreign policy ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, di ba? Medyo nag-shift siya towards talaga, o nag-lean siya towards talaga sa China. So hindi siya pumunta doon sa US, hindi niya ginrant yung invitation.
Because I think naman kasi yung relasyon ni President-elect Donald Trump and our President si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos will be a good one because one time or another nagkaroon sila ng interaction. The building in Trump Tower was formerly owned by sila Marcos family, di ba? So sila ang nagbilihan, tapos nagka-issue na.
Naregaluhan ba yun, di ba?
No, it was gifted to the First Lady, birthday gift ni the late President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. And that was the Trump Tower.
So ngayon, ang tanong kasi nila, yung mga military alliance, yung US Typhoon missile, mananatili ba dito pag upo ni President-elect Donald Trump? Magkakaroon pa rin ba ng mga military exercises?
I don't think mababawasan yung because President Trump wants to balance the power in this Indo-Pacific region, meaning ayaw niya yung lumalamang ang China in this area. Kaya ang dami nga niyang tariff sa China. So he wants to strengthen other countries that ang alam niya are in contention with China. And the best way, let's give the Philippines leverage. That way, they can leverage through the Philippines without them directly interacting with China.
Yun. Sige, let's continue with our countdown.
Emerging at the 8th spot is Meralco. The distributor announced an increase of their power rates this month. Meralco customers will see a 43 centavo increase per kilowatt hour. A household with an average consumption of 200 kilowatt hours per month should expect an 85 peso increase in their bill. Meralco said the rise of power rates was caused by the price increase of the generation and transmission charges. Aside from this, the electrical demand from customers is surging because of the holiday season. Meralco and One News under Signal are part of the MVP group of companies.
Pero kung i-check nga din daw yung konsumo eh, 'di ba? Yung konsumo nung dry season, nung tag-init versus this season, eh mas mataas pa rin yung konsumo nung mga tag-init. Syempre, 'di ba? Ang daming may kailangan ng kuryente.
Remember nung tag-init nag-surge ang sales ng aircon?
Yes.
May mga aircon nga binebenta.
Tapos lumidipis yung supply ng kuryente.
May mga bumibili ng aircon sa Lazada, bumibili tapos dinideliver. Tapos makikita mo sa daan yung mga aircon sa mga
tinitinda.
Sa mga bike, sa mga motor rider na deliver sila ng aircon. Oo.
Pero sinasabi nila, yung mga areas under state of calamities, eh, pwedeng mag-relax kahit papano kasi hindi naman sila muna matatamaan nito at bibigyan sila ng chance to pay yung mga arrears nila staggeredly, no, October to December. So they just need to keep in touch nga paano nila gagawin ito. Yun ang sinasabi.
Very responsive.
Sa mga under state of calamity.
Very responsive naman yung help desk na Meralco if you need assistance.
Yes.
Mabilis naman sila mag-respond.
Update lang dun sa nangyayari sa House of Representatives. Sila ay currently nag-aayos-ayos na. Nakita ko na si Representative Ace Barbers.
Ayan, that's Kong Dan Fernandez also on our screen.
Abangan niyo po yan mamaya, papalabas natin. Pag nandyan na po si formally nakaupo na si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte.
Dumating na daw siya. Dumating
yes,
na daw
he's
siya.
there already.
Baka nagko-coffee lang siya or nag-CR lang.
Spanish bread na ating kakainin habang pinapanood natin. Spanish bread, yan
Sabi sa akin kanina
mahaba.
pandesal.
Ay, ewan ko. Parang it looks like Spanish bread. Pakita mo sa mga natin, brunchies. Yan ang makakainin natin ngayon habang manonood ng comm hearing. Pero coming up, our Defense Department and the Chinese Foreign Ministry had another exchange of words about territorial disputes.
And the House Quad Committee's hearing on former President Duterte's drug war will push through today after it was initially cancelled.
We are just getting started, mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news and brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. Good morning! You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Good morning sa mga nanonood sa atin.
Sino ba?
Of course, sa YouTube, we have Chris. Ayan, si Summer Cabrera. Babago to si Summer. Hi, Summer. Si Gary Ko, si JN Ramos, si Geraldine Balolong, na nanonood pa yan all the way from Bukidnon. Yan, maraming salamat po sa inyo. Tita Daisy, Tito Naldi, Tito Nito. VJ, Ate Ice, nanonood din sa atin yan. Si Marisol, si Tasha, di ba? At saka, yung mga nasa Facebook, Jego, go ahead. Gusto mo
Wag
patingin
na,
sila?
medyong
Mahaba sila?
Hindi,
Mahadami. Si Alex Fuentes,
Hindi.
Sam Pokemon Go, Gary Field, Ralph Domingo, Migs Ebron, yan.
Hindi, kaya naman, hindi ko mabasa kasi puro bad words.
Okay lang yan. Babatiin mo lang naman yung pangalan nila. Thank you for watching. Cool lang kayo. Mamaya, sabi nga natin
Wala pa
kanina,
naman kami po
we'll give you updates
relax
doon sa
lang
mga
tayo.
mangyayari doon sa sa Quadcom hearing. Bakit?
Wala, so go ahead.
Bilang Pilipino, bilang Pilipino.
Now, on our 7th spot, COMELEC will release the remaining list of nuisance candidates for the Senate this week. COMELEC Chairman George Garcia says they are still resolving the cases through hearings. Aspirants are also given time to respond to the petitions declaring them nuisance candidates. There were a total of 117 nuisance cases filed against senatorial aspirants for the 2025 polls. Yan, sabi ko sa'yo, magre-release sila ng mga nuisance
Nuisance.
candidates officially i-declare nila yan. Pero yun nga kasi they're giving time also dun sa mga unang, kumbaga unang sinabihan nila na i-declare silang nuisance candidates para makapag-appeal sila. Pero yun nga kasi merong isang pagkakataon, 2022 if I'm not mistaken, na declare siya ng nuisance candidate. I forgot his name na nuisance candidate. Pero kinatigan siya ng Korte Suprema. Siya yung merong advocacy sa pets, animals, ganyan. Pero kasi na-declare siya noon ng COMELEC na nuisance kasi yun nga, hindi naman siya kilala, tapos independent siya. Pero yun nga, hindi yun yung para yung basehan. Basta alam naman, pwede naman imbestigahan, di ba, ng isang tao kung kaya niyang mamuno, hindi porket hindi sikat ay nuisance candidate na, kung hindi porket independent ka, wala kang partido, nuisance candidate ka na.
Yan
Bakit?
ang kasalita.
Go!
Talagang mahirap sumingit sa babaeng dire-diretso parang
Go na,
trend.
go na. Oh.
Di na.
Go
Nasabi
na.
mo na lahat actually.
Okay,
Galing, galing.
sige. O, ikaw naman to.
Alright, let's move on to the next. Sitting on the sixth spot is the Commission on Elections. COMELEC explained that the posters and billboards of certain candidates we see around are technically not violating any election laws. COMELEC Chairman George Garcia said the electoral body does not have any power to prevent candidates from putting up their posters. Their mandate can only be implemented once the election period starts on January 12. Aside from this, COMELEC has also requested the Bank to remove any provisions covering private individuals and their social media activities.
So halimbawa, ang isang individual ay nagustuhan niya yung na-post ng isang kandidato at pagkatapos na-share niya yon, hindi dapat ma-cover yung private individual dahil hindi naman siya ang kandidato at hindi rin naman siya political party. Lahat ng any provision sa guidelines namin na may patungkol sa private individuals, pinapatanggal po ng inyong lingkod.
Ngayon, ang assumption kasi dito, no, if the campaign period starts, the candidate with less money, may laban with the candidate with more money, it's because may cap tayo on spending. Di ba? Between candidates. Ang problema, may gray area sa pre-campaign period, like the moment they file until now, pwede ka mag-billboard, pwede ka mag-ad,
Yes,
radio.
wala kasing premature campaigning.
Diba? Pwede ka nga pre-movie trailers, di ba? Because wala kang premature campaigning. And yung budget po na ginagastos sa pre-campaign period,
Hindi pa rin yan counted dun
hindi
sa
counted, di ba?
budget per candidate.
So, oo, kung lahat susunod po sa binigay na takda ng cap ng COMELEC sa spending during campaign period, wala naman nagpipigil sa mga candidates to campaign and magbuhos ng pera ng war chest nila before the campaign period.
Totoo.
So,
Kaya lugi talaga yung
mga
mga walang
candidates
pera.
na may intent naman mag-serve, may intent naman tumakbo at magsilbi ng mabuti, walang ganong
Walang
kadaming
machinery.
pera, walang machinery, malulugi sila sa pre-campaign period.
Totoo yan. Tapos sinasabihan din pala ng MMDA, bawal mag-paster ng mga posters ng kandidato dun sa mga pagmamay-ari ng MMDA, mga post, yung mga benches, offices, etc. Bawal po yun. Tapos of course, meron din paalala, di ba, ang COMELEC dun sa mga magpo-post ng mga kanilang posters, ng mga campaign materials, sumunod nga doon sa tinakdang laki. Diba? Tapos ang problema kasi ngayon, ang ginagawa, actually hindi lang ngayon, dati
Pero yung
pa
takdang laki naman hindi pa sakop mo
Hindi
yun.
pa, January 12, after start ng
Kasi
campaign period January 12.
May nakikita akong napakalaking
Laki.
billboard dito sa EDSA.
Ano ka, earlier this year pa meron na
Yung color blue.
Blue ba yun? Parang yung red nakita ko.
Oh, yung color
Anyway, marami sila. Pero yun nga, isa pang nagiging problema ever since, yung halimbawa, bawal maglagay ng campaign materials dito, tapos makikita mo yung poster ng isang kandidato. And then when you call the attention of that certain candidate, ang sasabihin nila, hindi naman kami naglagay niyan
Mga
Yung
supporters
mga supporters
of.
namin di ba? Hindi namin makontrolado yan Yan yung mga nagiging problema. Diba?
Actually, yan ang
O
loophole.
kaya, yung loophole niya, o kaya yung kalaban. Diba?
Kasi,
Parang sinasabotahe yung kabila.
Hindi mo pwede hulihin yung candidate na yun kasi mali mo, nagsasabi nga ng totoo, supporter yun
yun. Kaya sinasabi ko, problema yun
Kasi may
ever
mga
since.
backer din naman yung mga yan who
Right.
believe in the advocacy of the candidate. They will post for that candidate.
Exactly.
Oo.
Eto 90-day campaign period for national candidates officially starts on February 11, 2025 hanggang May 10, 2025. And local candidates will have a 45-day campaign period starting from March 28
February.
to May 10, 2025.
Ano yung binanggit natin, January?
January 12 is the start of the ano ba yun, yung sa campaign period nila. Pero ito, for 90-day campaign period ng national candidates at saka local.
February. So January 12 is for
Sinabi din nila campaign period din yun. Ang start ng, yung masasakupan sila ng
guidance.
ng
Okay.
Okay.
Yun.
Sige, let's continue with our countdown. House lawmakers denied that the hearings against Vice President Sara Duterte was politically motivated. The Good Government Committee cited in contempt for 4 OVP officials for their refusal to participate in the hearings. The officers in questions are supposedly the ones who know the most about how the confidential funds were spent. VP Duterte or VP Sara Duterte said they were busy preparing for the 89th anniversary of the OVP on Friday this week. But for Congressman Dan Fernandez, Duterte's shielding of her close aides is a leaf right out of her father's book.
Why? Si BP Sara, nakita natin how she protected yung mga tao niya by not letting them to attend the hearing. Dito naman si former president, no, sinasabi niya, me alone, it's all me, ang responsible dun sa war on drugs.
So they're very similar. Marami rin nakakapansin. The way they handle themselves is very similar si VP Sara and si former. Well, siyempre, daddy niya yun di ba? So there was, ang term doon, pinagbiyak na
The apple doesn't
No,
fall
pinagbiyak
far...
na parang yung coconut,
Pinagbiyak na bungo. Ay, bunga. Ano ba yun?
Anong bungo? Anyway,
wala ka tanongin.
English na lang natin. The apple does not fall far from the tree.
Yun nga sinasabi ko. Pero di ba nung isang beses, nung isang araw ba yun, nagpa-press con ulit nga, itong si Vice President Sara Duterte, calling it nga na, tinanong siya, di ba, kung ano yung plano niya for 2028. Sabi niya, hindi pa daw niya
Maaga
masabi.
pa.
Siguro 2026 ay po pwede pa. Tapos
Still too
tinanong
early.
siya, ano ba, hindi pa ba kayo ulit pupunta ng House Committee nung sa hearing ng budget, ganyan-ganyan, dahil nga how you guys spent daw yung confidential fund. Sabi niya, hindi, depende daw kasi hindi pa daw siya, wala pa siya sa mood makipag-away. Typical Duterte.
Ina-anticipate niya na may kaaway siya.
Ito si Francis Rainier, sabi niya sa SLEX lang daw, ang dami daw billboard doon ng mga
Ito,
alam
si
na natin,
Migs Ebron.
mga kandidato.
Migs Ebron, I'm waiting for you, Duterte.
Ayun, naabangan niya, no?
Excited
Ongoing,
si Migs. Oo.
nagsisimula na actually yung Quadcom hearing sa House of Representatives.
Parang prep pa lang
Parang
sila
preparation.
Oh,
Pero
anyway,
nandun
mamaya.
na yung mga chairman like si Representative Ace Barbers, Congressman Dan Fernandez.
Mamaya we'll update them. But in
Yes.
the meantime, let's move on with our countdown. On our fourth spot is President Bongbong Marcos. PBBM has expressed intent to intensify the administration's war on drugs. The president seeks to strengthen the collaboration between law enforcement agencies like the Interior Department, the Justice Department, the Philippine National Police, and the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla said the government will shift its focus to the groups heavily involved in supplying narcotics to the country. Marcos previously highlighted that his war on drugs is working despite not being bloody compared to his predecessor's controversial approach. Controversial approach. Yun ang EJK natin.
Yung
tinatawag
war
nila,
on drugs.
bloody
diba?
war on drugs.
Kaya nga during his speech nung sa SONA, remember nitong last SONA niya?
Binida niya yung parang na-confiscate.
Bloodless war on drugs. Yun ang sinabi. Palakpakan
Diba?
yung mga tao doon.
Ito yung confiscate na cocaine, yung and shabu by Pideyat, pero not one drop of blood daw was spilled during that. Yun ang sabi ni PBBM, bloodless.
Yun ang kanilang target daw ngayon, and lahat yung mga pushers and users, actually users, 'di ba, save them, meron silang mga yung rehabilitation
Kumbaga,
facility.
yung dating mantra ng mga
Completely different.
anti-drug war, not kay PRD, ng mga former slogan na ginagamit ng gobyerno na save the user, jail the pusher.
Pero yun nga sinasabi natin, di ba? Kasi during also the Duterte administration, sinasabi nila, hindi naman daw ganun kadami yung mga, or halos wala, or konti lang, yung mga big fish na talaga na nahuhuli. So ngayon, yun ang inaasahan nila.
Ang pinupuntirya nila dito is bakit daw ang tumutumba is mga street peddlers at saka middlemen, di ba? Wala daw yung mga actual na nagpapasok dito sa Pilipinas na mga drugs bulto-bulto.
Sige, let's continue with our countdown. Senator Francis Tolentino, the author of the country's 2 new maritime laws, says the measures are not meant to escalate tensions. Here's a report.
There's been an exchange of words between Defense Secretary Gibo Teodoro and a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson. In a press conference in Canberra, Teodoro said China is stepping up pressure on the Philippines to cede its sovereign rights in the South China Sea.
We don't need to enter into a geopolitical nexus for determining the root cause of the problem because we are direct victims of Chinese aggression in this and in a concentrated area thus far, in the West Philippine Sea.
China's foreign ministry hit right back at Teodoro, warning that Beijing may have no choice but to retaliate.
I would like to point out here that every time a maritime dispute between China and the Philippines escalates, it is caused by the infringement and provocation started by the Philippines.
It added that the situation will no longer escalate if the Philippines will stop its supposed provocations. This comes on the heels of the Marcos administration enacting 2 landmark maritime laws, the Maritime Zones Act and the Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act, that seek to strengthen the country's claims in the West Philippine Sea. This angered China, which summoned our ambassador there, Jaime Flor Cruz. It then declared its own baselines in the Territorial Sea around Scarborough Shoal, or what it calls Wang Yan Dao. But for the author of the law, Senator Francis Tolentino, the measures are not meant to escalate tensions. He said it aims to fortify the country's sovereignty over the West Philippine Sea.
It will fortify our claims, entitlements, etc., and it will serve as our title and birth certificate to the seas which we are claiming and which we really own. Tingin ko effective yung laws natin kasi nagre-react sila.
Alright, sige. Marami pa tayong pag-uusapan today.
Don't go away because we're not done yet. May dalawa pa tayo. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Thank you sa mga comments ng mga viewers. Very engaged.
Yes.
Very animated ang mga replies nila. It's because po, if you're asking why, ngayon po ang Quadcom hearing with former President Rodrigo Duterte in tow.
Oh, this is the 11th
11th
Quadcom
hearing.
diba? At this time around, former President Rodrigo Duterte is set
joining.
to appear.
Yeah. All right. Let's get right to it. Going straight to our top 2, retired police officer Royina Garma and her daughter were arrested in the United States. Reports surfaced that the former Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office General Manager flew out of the country. However, the U.S. Control Border nabbed her for carrying a canceled U.S. visa. The Justice Department and the Interior Department said Garma can freely fly to another country since there is no whole departure order against her.
Oh, actually, this is not the first time pala that she tried to leave the country. Nung August pala, yun nga, yung kinukwento din ni Kong Abante, na-stop siya sa Japan, yung connecting flight because of yung visa din.
Pero technically naman kasi, wala namang kaso.
Wala siyang kaso, wala siyang, kahit ilbo nga, wala siya
There's nothing,
full departure order, wala.
They're still mulling over whether sa DOJ kung mag-state witness. Pero initially, she can fly wherever she wants to go to.
But ang kasi nila dun, visa cancellation. So, hindi natin alam kung ano yung reason ng cancellation. Well, of course naman, prerogative naman ng country yun, di ba? Pero yun nga tinatanong natin, meron bang request yung Philippine side natin to hold her there or whatever?
May mga instances kasi ng 10-year multiple entry visas that sometimes can get canceled pag hindi nagagamit. For example, kahit 10 years ka, mag-lapse ka in 3 years, pero sa date of issuance, hindi mo pa nagamit. Sometimes, outright, the US, they cancel it.
Pero yun nga, siya dito.
We don't know the reason we don't know.
Babalik siya dito. Yun nga sinabi rin ni Kong Abante
because
kanina.
before we move on, sabi ni Kong Abante, there is a possibility that si Royina Garma and FPRRD
maghaharap.
May possibility po yan.
Sa hearing. Kung a-attend ulit si Pangulong
PRRD.
Rodrigo Duterte.
10 days straight daw eh.
Oo, pero sige, let's continue with our countdown. Now, still hot at the top spot is the House Quadcom. Their 11th hearing pushed through today after it was initially rescheduled. This as ex-President Rodrigo Duterte's camp accused lawmakers of intentionally rescheduling the hearing after the former leader flew to Manila to accept their invitation. Here's the report.
After it was rescheduled to next week, the House Quadcom decided to push the initial scheduled hearing today. The committee previously said the hearing will continue next week because they need to verify the possible witnesses. But just this morning, House Secretary General Reginald Velasco told reporters that the hearing will take place this morning. This move was done after the camp of former President Rodrigo Duterte called out the committee for rescheduling the hearing. Duterte was already in Manila when the committee announced the changes in schedule. Lawmakers insisted they are not scared of Duterte. Some of them accused the former president of strategically flying to Manila to make them look like cowards.
Wala pong naduduwag dito. Now we're supposed to have a November 13 hearing, but we decided to cancel it yesterday. Ngayon sasabihin na pupunta. Ano ba talaga, kuya?
Sinadya yun. Kasi Sunday pa lang pinag-uusapan na to eh. Kaya nga, yun yung, ano nila, yung style eh, di ba? And to make it appear na tayo yung umaatras sa ganitong klase ng invitation. Whereas we've been inviting him for so many hearings already. If I'm not mistaken, doon pa lang sa committee ng EJK, ng human rights, months ago pa yan, in-invite na po ni Chairman Abante. And they declined.
In a text message, former Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo said Duterte will confront the lawmakers today whether or not the hearing will take place. They will also request a 10-day marathon hearing. In an interview with 1PH's sa Totoo Lang, House Quadcom co-chairperson Representative Benny Abante expressed willingness to accept Panelo's proposal.
Medyo may edad na rin ako, pero nagkakaroon naman kami ng hearing na mula alas 10 ng umaga hanggang alas 2 ng umaga. Kaya po namin yan. Hindi ko lang alam po kung kaya ng dating Pangulo yan, sapagkat sinabi din niya na napapagod na siya, nagkakasakit na siya at lahat na.
Meanwhile, on Storycon yesterday, Committee Co-Chairperson Representative Dan Fernandez called the Duterte's camp's bluff.
For 10 days, no? Alam naman natin mga rhetorics na yung sinasabi po nila. Hindi naman po yung totoo. We will give the proper treatment sa kanya. Uunahin po natin siya. At pag natanong na po natin ang lahat ng tanong, then we will be excusing the former president already.
Ako, dumating pa nga sa point na 'di ba nag-alok sila na ako. Sige, ko ang problema naman yung pamasahe kasi sinasabi nga ng kampo nila Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, 'di ba? Living na lang daw siya, 'di ba? Wala naman daw siya talagang pera, 'di ba? Sige, papamasahihan na
sabi
sila.
Sabi nga ni Kong Dan Fernandez nung nag-guest siya dito sa phone natin, sa program natin via phone.
Yeah.
Sabi niya, sige, may hotel naman niya sa QC, yung Soler, pwede doon, 'di ba?
Kasi sabi ko, baka naman sa detention yung i-accommodate pa si Pangulong Duterte. Pero
ikaw nagsabi nun.
Sinabi ko nga. Pero at the end of the day, eto na, the moment of, it's D-Day. Inaasahan natin, inaabangan natin.
The final countdown.
The final countdown. Former President Rodrigo Duterte is set to appear dito sa 11th hearing na ginagawa ng
House Quad Committee on this time, on EJK. And according to Congressman Abante, mamaya yung mga victims, family of the victims of the EJK, madami daw sila will be there to narrate.
Former Senator Laila de Lima will be there as well.
To all narrate their experiences during Duterte's administration.
Attorney Cristina Pondi, nakita ko na rin siya.
Okay. Ayan, okay. Let's throw it over na that wraps up today.
Ito na inaantay nyo.
Alright, it wraps up today's official episode of Brunch.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunzad-Castro. He is Angelo Castro III. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Throw.